Okay, let's jump into Psalms chapter 112 for this deep dive.
Yeah.
The source material here, it really focuses on this picture of a person, someone described as uh, fearing the Lord.
And finding great delight in his commands, yeah. That's the
Yeah.
foundation it builds on.
Exactly. And from that foundation, the text describes all these blessings, doesn't it? Things like, well, prosperity, security.
Mm-hmm. Mm. And it draws a really stark contrast later on with the wicked, based purely on what the text presents.
What's really striking, I think, is how direct that link is in the source between the attitude that fear and delight and the, tangible results.
Absolutely. It talks about both their inner character and the sort of external effects. It's quite comprehensive.
It gets right into it, doesn't waste time. It says this person is blessed, straight up.
And not just them individually.
No, it says their children will be mighty in the land.
And the whole generation of the upright will be blessed. That's a big claim, suggesting a ripple effect.
A generational impact, yeah. And it doesn't shy away from material things either.
Right. Wealth and riches are in his house. It's right there in the text.
But importantly, look what comes immediately after that.
And his righteousness endures forever. That balance is key, isn't it?
It really is. It suggests the wealth isn't the whole story, maybe not even the main point. It's paired with this enduring quality.
That phrase, his righteousness endures forever, it keeps coming back in the source.
It does. Like later it says, even in darkness, light dawns for the upright.
For the gracious and compassionate and righteous man. So it connects that enduring righteousness to specific traits.
Being gracious, being compassionate. Like those qualities themselves bring light when things are tough. That's how the source seems to frame it.
And it mentions actions, too, specific behavior.
Uh-huh. What does it say there?
Good will come to him who is generous and lends freely.
Right, who conducts his affairs with justice.
So generosity, lending, justice in dealings, the text, presents these as actions leading to good outcomes, almost a cause and effect.
And then there's this powerful section on security, on reputation.
Oh, yeah. He will never be shaken. That's a strong statement.
Never shaken. And a righteous man will be remembered forever. Quite a legacy.
And that internal security. He will have no fear of bad news. How does it describe the heart?
His heart is steadfast, trusting in the Lord. That steadfastness, grounded in trust. What does that really mean when trouble hits, according to this text?
Well, the source suggests a deep inner stability. It says, his heart is secure, he will have no fear.
Secure.
In the end, he will look in triumph on his foes. So it's not about avoiding trouble, maybe, but having an inner confidence from that foundation.
An inner confidence that lets them face it without fear and, the text implies, ultimately overcome it.
And it circles back to generosity again, connecting it all up.
It does. He has scattered abroad his gifts to the poor. And what's the result listed right after?
His righteousness endures forever. His horn will be lifted high in honor.
So giving to the poor is directly linked again to that enduring righteousness and also to public honor, that horn lifted high.
Which, in that context, yeah, seems like a textual symbol for status, respect, elevation that comes from living this way.
Okay, so that's the picture of the righteous person in the source. But then comes the contrast.
A very sharp contrast. What about the wicked man?
The text is blunt. The wicked man will see and be vexed.
Wax frustrated.
And then he will gnash his teeth and waste away. It's a picture of decline, of diminishment.
And the final line about him.
The longings of the wicked will come to nothing. All their desires frustrated.
So you have this stark choice presented in the text, really.
Yeah.
One path leads to remembrance, enduring righteousness, security, honor, generational blessing.
And the other, vexation, wasting away, unfulfilled desires, coming to nothing.
The source material really pushes you to think about those outcomes. Enduring versus fading, security versus frustration.
So if we step back, what's the lasting thought this source, Psalms 1 to 12, leaves us with? It seems to contrast that righteousness which endures forever, leading to remembrance and security.
Against the idea that the longings of the wicked will come to nothing.
It definitely makes you consider, based on this text, what kind of life builds something permanent versus something that just disappears, what truly lasts.